Good day and welcome. Thank you for joining us on this lovely day. We're going to talk about some exciting stuff today. There's going to be a kind of a little lesson in chemistry. We're going to talk about a lesson in chemistry. We're going to start out probably with what some would call a conspiracy theory. So those of you that enjoy a good conspiracy theory, you're in for a treat. Those of you who like to stay away from them, that's okay too, because it's not actually going to be a conspiracy theory. It's going to be just a list of facts that I've observed. You can make it anything you want. Now, let's get started. Thank you, Lord, for this moment, where we get to share things that will bring glory to you, Lord. Enjoy fellowship of our brothers. Thank you for that. Amen. Now, onward. I did some baking today. I don't bake a lot. I do some. I like it. I know a little bit about it. Not a chef by any means, but I'll tell you this. I do like to once in a while measure stuff out and make something really nice. And I did that today. But I found something out that's a little unusual. Now, this is going to be a stretch for anybody that's not real savvy on chemistry, but I'll try and keep that part simple. And those that know a lot about chemistry, you can help out in comments if you like. This is about what we eat. This is about what we think we're eating. This is about what's good for us, and quite possibly this is about what's killing us and what's destined to kill every one of us. So where do I start? All right, I was making a batch of brownies. Okay, well, hey, from scratch now. They were going to be good. Just brownies, okay? Anyway, in these brownies, certainly there's some oil, there's some eggs and milk and flour. You get the idea. Yes, there's sugar in there. Cocoa, vanilla, all them good things. All right, just fine. I was a little short on the amount of vegetable oil that I needed. Now, I know vegetable oil. Well, there's lots of different kinds. I happened to be using a brand of soybean oil. If you look at your vegetable oil that you have in your kitchen, you're going to find it's either a corn or a canola or vegetable soybean, a few others. That's for the liquid oil. But I just needed a little bit more, and I had some of that solid shortening stuff. You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to stay away from brands here. I'm not trying to intimidate anybody. But you know what I'm talking about, that white, creamy, it's vegetable shortening is what they call it. And it kind of makes you wonder, what is that? Well, I've wondered that a time or two, but now I'm really wondering about it. Because here's what I discovered. I put a small amount of the shortening in to bulk up my oil, which I knew would be okay as far as what I was baking. It really didn't make any difference. But here's where it did make a difference. And this is where I think it might be important. When I cleaned up everything, I noticed a difference between the utensils that had only touched the soybean oil and those that only touched the vegetable shortening. Now, one would think, okay, you throw the dishes in the dishwasher and they're clean, right? Yeah, I'm thinking that would work. But as some of you know, I make my own soap. It's made out of pig lard and caustic lye, which makes a very pleasant soap if it's done right. And we've been using it for years, and we like it, and we'd use it for a lot of things. Cleaning dishes is one of them. I make like a hand soap out of it as well as bar soap, whatever you need. Why? I don't know, because I enjoy doing that. And quite honestly, it has no additives. That's usually the issue with anybody's reaction to things like household soap. It's the additives, it's not the soap. So, nonetheless, that's what I use. But here's what I found out. The things that had the oil on them, they washed up just fine, just like anything else. Wash them, rinse them, fry them. Done. Easy peasy. But the stuff that has shortening on, that soap, even if I took it as I straight out of the bottle the way I make it, all it did was make like a grimy, thickening paste of axle grease on the utensils. And I thought, well, that's kind of strange. So my soap will clean vegetable oil, but it won't clean shortening. So I got out a little jug of any kind of large, big box type dish soap that you might have. We keep a bottle of that around. It's convenient. And I put just a drop or two of that on the utensil that was giving me a problem, and it cleaned up perfectly. I said, well, that's interesting. So if I use store-bought soap and use any combination I want of more shortening or oils, it'll all clean up the same. But if I use a completely natural soap, it will clean up the vegetable oil, but it will not clean up the shortening. That got me thinking, what's going on here? Well, I haven't completely taken this down, but it has to do with hydrogenation. You've heard of unsaturated fats, saturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats. All that means is that the fatty acids are long chains of carbons, and they'll have some double bonds, carbons double bond. Now I'm getting into the chemistry. Don't worry about it. It's okay. There'll be a couple of double bonds mixed in there, here and there. It's kind of a random thing for most purposes. They can bubble hydrogen into that, which is called hydrogenation, over a catalyst, and it'll break that double bond, pop two hydrogens on that site, and now you have no double bonds, also known as saturated. That's where that word comes from. It's saturated with single bonds on the carbons. Okay, so that process is well known. The reason that's done is it takes a liquid oil and turns it into a more shelf-stable shortening solid. It's been done for many, many years. But other things have been done for many, many years too. And heart problems and arthrosclerosis and fatty liver and diabetes and a whole bunch of other diseases are well on the rise, and they fit this along with several other interesting chemical advances in our food. I'm going to show you something so that we understand that I'm not making any of this up. This is all just factual. So I'm going to switch it and see if I can do this gracefully. I doubt it. But I want to show you this label. Maybe. I was trying to stay away from the brands, but let's see if this will show up for you. There you go. Look at that. Now, I don't know if you can read that. That would be the key. I want you to be able to read this. Let's get to where we can read it. Is that readable? And you will see, just look at the fat part, or look at the ingredients, really. Because you'll find, I'm going to read this to you now. I don't have my glasses on, so if you don't mind, let's just go there for a second. This part will be over quick, don't worry. All right, so we have, not a significant source of dietary fiber, no kidding. Ingredients, aha, that was over here in that blue part down there. You can read that. If you can't, I'll read it to you. Ingredients, soybean oil. Okay, so this is the shortening that had the problem with cleaning. Has soybean oil in it. Well, soybean oil's okay. Second ingredient, which could be as much as 49% of it, we don't know. They don't tell you. But it's a significant ingredient. It's the second one. They're in the order of how much is in there. Fully hydrogenated palm oil. That's the second ingredient. Therein lies the saturated fat. Then the next one is palm oil, and then mono and diglycerides. Well, the mono and diglycerides just mean that instead of having 3 fatty acids on a glycerin, you have mono 1 or di 2. Okay, so a couple of them broke. Then there's a few other things in a little citric acid that they add for preservation. The citric acid's all right. The TBHQ, if you don't know what it is, you might want to question why you're eating it. That's what I'm doing now. But those are very, very small amounts, but nonetheless, how much do you need? But I'm more concerned about that fully hydrogenated palm oil. So let's go over here to now this is a bottle got rescued so that I used it up, so I could show it to you. But nonetheless, this is a vegetable oil. It says 100% pure vegetable oil. Well, fine. And when we go to ingredients, soybean oil. So the only ingredient listed here is also the first ingredient in the shortening. So you can see that. Let's see if I can get it where it's legible. But you can see there that the ingredients and the warnings. But anyway, the ingredients under that box there says ingredient soybean oil. That's it. That's all that's in there. Soybean oil. And again, as much as half of the other one, maybe less than half, but the major ingredient of the other one is also soybean oil. So the next ingredient down, being the fully hydrogenated palm oil, seems to be the link that wouldn't wash, but yet it will wash just fine with standard, common household, available at the grocery store dishwashing soap that most people use. You'd never know the difference. Here's what I'm wondering about. Many, many years ago, before they were hydrogenating anything, people used oils to cook with, very similar to what we use now. Corn oil, palm oil a little bit. Depends on how far back you go. But mostly animal fats, lard and tallow, what have you. And I know for a fact that those clean up just fine with natural homemade soap with no additives. All of them do. And I'm sure that 100 years ago, when people were making their own soap and using some of their own rendered oils and basic oils, everything was fine and the dishes came out clean. And in general, people were happy on that. But then along comes this hydrogenation. I'm not sure how many years ago. I'm guessing in the 50s, but I might miss that by a decade one way or the other. And I'm also guessing that people immediately liked using it because of its convenience for storage and cooking and what have you. But they probably found out that all of a sudden they couldn't get their kitchen utensils clean, and they said, I am not using this stuff. My kitchen utensils don't come clean afterwards. And very quickly, being the entrepreneurs that the human race seems to be, said, hey, we can make a soap that'll clean that up, no problem at all. And voila, every dish soap out there now will easily clean this oil. Well, that's okay. So much for the background. Where is that taking us? That's the key. Natural, unnatural. Chemically modified. And all of a sudden, the natural soap won't clean it. What's happening inside what's happening inside your body when all of a sudden Crisco, I said the word, shortening appeared on the scene? Lots of manufacturers. Not so many at first, but lots now. That first appeared, and there may have been some resistance until the soap companies came behind them. And now, of course, you couldn't buy a soap that wouldn't cut that stuff. unless you make your own. So nobody knows. But now you know. What's happening inside your body? Isn't your body a natural functioning organism, bioorganism, much like the soap? It's very natural. Doesn't have chemically modified it's various compounds, esters and aldehydes and all sorts of things that were added, potentially way worse than that, to make this fat break up, this unnatural fat break up. I'm thinking your body's having a hard time breaking it up, and it's turning into the same grease that's clogging your arteries, and it's clogging your liver, and it's clogging everything it can get a hold of and attach to, and it's killing a lot of cells, and a lot of damage is being done by it over time because that stuff's gradual. First thing your body probably does is try to get rid of it. But if you keep feeding it to it, it's going to build up somewhere. I'm going to tell you right now, the choice is yours. If you want to keep using things that are chemically modified, you go ahead. The point I might make is it might be difficult to avoid them. They're everywhere. But at least you have been warned. And it's been hidden from you for a long time. This isn't hidden. I'm not talking about what causes heart attacks. I'm not talking about how to prevent them. I'm telling you what happened when I washed my dishes. My thoughts are that I can expect similar occurrences in any natural setting, and my body happens to be one of those natural settings. So yes, there are other people besides me that know about this. And no, they're not saying a word about it. So, you can believe me, not believe me. You can play around with this and experiment and do your own right in your kitchen sink. Grab some shortening and somebody's homemade soap that they made because you probably don't. Or you can come get some from me. Whatever you want to do and see for yourself what I'm talking about. And when you do, you're going to immediately not want this stuff in your body anymore. Non-modified foods. Okay, where does that take us? Sky's the limit. Genetically modified corn. Everything you eat's made from it, in one way or another. Either the animals that you eat are fed it, or the plants that you eat are, well, the food that you eat is made from a derivative of it, or it is somehow or another ground up and used to produce whatever it is that you're eating. So go look at anything. It's got high fructose corn syrup in it. But of course, there's corn appears in a lot of places that you don't see. Again, animal feed. And yes, that stuff goes clean through. What are the effects there versus the effects from this shortening that I've just demonstrated? Well, I'm not here to tell you that I know the direct links. What I know is that your body was not intended to eat that stuff. Grow your own food, raise your own animals, make your own soap, find out some things that you just wouldn't know any other way. You just wouldn't. God bless you. I love you. And I am so concerned for our society, our culture, the things that are happening in politics that just don't make sense anymore. And I'm beginning to see why. Because we've been lulled to sleep. And in that state, we can be taken anywhere that anyone else wants us to, that has a mind to. They can direct us any way they want. And I know that you are listening to this, know that there are evil, satanic forces that would just love to be a part of that. And they will take you much further than what I'm talking about. Deep into the darkness of sin, deep into the darkness of mistrust, into psychotic issues, drug issues, all sorts of addictions, all begin with a seeking of pleasure, with a seeking of self-fulfillment. It's all about self. And we'll get sucked into that. And nobody's going to tell you that they're sucking you into it. And in fact, some of them don't even know they're doing it. So watch out. Be on the lookout. Don't allow yourself to be steered. There's so many things that we don't know about yet, individually, but collectively, as we find things out, as I did today, share them, let people know. Be a part of an awakening where people say, I'm not having this anymore. I'm not going to be controlled in this way anymore. It's over. You don't get to do that. Take control of your life. Take control of your family. Take control of their safety. Take control of your surroundings. And God bless you. Have a good day.